to our panel 3, Frontline Workers Safety, Protecting Lone and Frontline Workers. So for this, I would like to call on stage Mr. Manojkumar Shah, General Manager, SHES and Sustainability from Azure Power. Please come on the stage. Mr. Kumar, AGM, HSE from Hindustan Construction Company Limited. Mr. Pavan Rao, Head HSE, Sembcorp Energy India Limited. Mr. Praveen Bansal, Director EHS from Regal, Rexnord. Mr. DC Saxena, General Manager, HSE from Jaypee Group. Mr. Yogesh, Chitale, DGM Corporate Safety from Tata Motors. And our moderator, Mr. Prakash Prasad, General Manager, HSE Department from AFCONS Infrastructure Limited. So over to you, sir. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, Synnex, and all the participants present here for giving us chance to speak on this forum and share our knowledge and experience with all of you. Remember, since beginning of the mankind, industry is there in this world in some form. You see our sacred text and books like Mahabharata, Ramayana and other places, you will find there is an industry also. Suppose production of a bow, arrow, javelin, sword or chariot is a part of industry. Now these days it is being called industrialization has been taken place since 200 years. But I say it is since beginning. Industrialization is there. But we have started collecting data or gathering information. That's why we are calling it industrialization. But I say industrialization since beginning. And we find that even 200 years back, we were sending the people to hospital even today. There is no change. There is no much change. Its fact is that with the time, when we started working with high temperature, very extreme low temperature, high pressure, height, speed, our severity has increased. Our severity has increased of the accident. Probability has increased of the accident. But still we are sending people to the hospital. So this is the subject what we are going to discuss today. It's a very, very important subject. It is directly related to the task performer. In fact, if you will go through the different dictionary meaning and all these things, you will find a frontline worker or lone worker. When we are talking, it's mostly about the workers who is working within his own supervision. In other way, I can say he is working alone, or particular the healthcare worker, workers from e-commerce, worker from service industries, worker from hotel industries, worker from even manufacturing and construction. Many times we found people has to work their own. And different kind of risk they have to face always. If it is not being planned, it is not being thought of, the proper precautions has not been taken, certainly we are going to put the people in hospital and sometimes it is fatality. As far as lot of discussion was there on the data, particularly take the example of recent time, during the COVID, there is a still difference between data. Government says 1,506 people we have given the compensations against the death. Whereas IMSH 1,596 only doctor died. Forget about the other healthcare workers. Similar way, if you will go to the industry, in parliament, a cabinet government minister has replied, in last 5 years, only 6,500 workers died. But we will see the data of BBC and other organization. The BBC says 48,000 workforce in India die every year. Now you can see the severity of the subject. Still we are putting people in hospital, still people are dying. Why? Where we fail? Why this situation is there? To discuss all these things for the frontline worker, the worker who do the job directly, and the worker who work alone, we have a learned panel over here. I know you may, after few minutes, you may face us as a barrier between you and your delicious food. So we are it, please. You are going to get very good things from there. So first of all, I'll ask Mr. Can you please again your name? Manojkumar Singh. We will start from this way. I will ask Manojkumar Singh to introduce himself and speak about what their company is going to do, they are doing for protecting the frontline worker, or if possible, he can speak about the lone worker.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, monitors and wonderful audience. You are waiting for we are not taking much time. So, as our topic is frontline worker and lone workers, what are the bigger challenges? So, as already our monitor says, who are the lone workers? So, lone workers or frontline workers are the workers, they work themselves without any direct or direct supervision or control on them. So they say if you working in industry like in renewable industries, so like in wind and solar, you find the manpower is generally very scarce manpower. Like in wind, you find one or two people. In solar also, one or two people in operation stage. In construction stage, there are a lot of many people. So in O&M stage, there are workers like security workers like maintenance guys who have to work, and there is a very large areas. If you have experience about the solar industry, there is a large area of industries. So if you have one or two people are there for operations and maintenance, so any maintenance issue, it is like treat it as a frontline or a lone worker. So a company has to need to see that there are bigger challenges. Like, so what are the bigger challenges? So one is first foremost challenges what we are facing is any incidents or any emergencies arising out of the work. Suppose there is a fire, there is a natural calamities. So in the lone worker, they are facing they are more impacted. If you find that in wind projects, only one person is working in height. If any fire or anything, any natural calamities, so he will be trapped and he is not able to respond. So company has many systems on that. So before that, what are the things what we are doing, as a company? So these are the one challenge. Second challenge is like we have a security guards or maintenance guys. So nearby communities also. We are the providing the powers, renewable power to the discoms. So, but the nearby community cannot understand. Sometimes they thinking that we have to, if the companies in our vicinity, they need to give us power. So it will lead to sometimes verbal abuse or violence. These are the things we are facing. So this is second challenges we are facing. And the third challenge is social isolations. So they feel because most of our plants in very remote areas. So it is not in urban-like setups. So they are feeling most of the social isolations. So these are the three challenges we are facing most. And fourth is the already violence. I already talk about violence. Theft. Theft also is there because due to large area and the security guard is limited for that. So theft is also one of the things which we are facing. And due to theft, there are the mob attacks on the security and all. So what we have risk assessments, enterprise-wise risk assessment system. We have regularly involved our lone workers and frontline workers in the risk assessments, and we have provided them equipments like mobile is also there, but walkie-talkie and all that, so they can directly connect with their regional offices. And any incident, we have software on any incident reporting or any things, near miss or anything, we can report on our app. We have a mobile app. So based on that, any incidents or anything, any complaints regarding any grievance, he can register, and it will be escalated. It is visible to all the employees as well as our management also. So the lone workers, any grievance or any incident, it will be escalated to the all levels. So it will be help them to communication wise. So we have a standardize our communication first, and second is there is employee engagement programs regularly for them. There are regularly the regional offices. They have regular interactions. Apart from that, there is various programs for them, trainings and awareness. Like what are the things they need to do, like training like first aids, emergency response, doing various emergencies, safety trainings, their behavioral trainings. So many trainings they have to taken part by through because through digital media we have online courses also them send them cross-functional, they're shifting their duties also, like cross-functional duties, like some front-end worker is working for 1 or 2 months, they are shifting to the other offices or are there. So there are the ways we are doing it to engage the frontline worker and lone workers. So it's also benefit.
Manoj, you can summarize it fast.
Okay. So to sort of times, so what are the things are frontline worker or lone workers? We have to first is the communications. Regularly communicate them. We need to provide them the equipments so that they can communicate during any incident or emergencies. They need feel engaged with the company, not feel the social isolations, and we have a zero tolerance policy for any abuse or any violence from the third party or any community. So we take it very seriously, and we assure them, whether by company, assure them they will feel not dejected. Like, so these are the things from our company. So short of time, I just hand over to.
Thank you.
Moderator.
Thank you, Manoj. He has raised some good points, like a lone worker is working in remote places, social securities, violence, and communication. These are the some barriers are there. Really, it's a great points you have raised. And now we have Mr. Pavan Rao. He's going to touch the subject avoidable injury. In fact, all accidents or injuries are avoidable. That we believe, and every fraternity, every HSE fraternity will believe it. So now over to you, Mr. Rao.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks to all of you, distinguished gathering here to allow me to speak in this important event. I will not take much time, but I would like to say that my name is Pavan Rao. I represent Sembcorp Energy India Limited. We own and operate 2 big power plants in Nellore, 4 into 660 megawatt. And we have all kinds of hazards. So over last 5 years, what we have done is we have started working very, very seriously on. Now, there is a new concept. The world is moving away from the industrial safety to what is called as new way of safety. It's also called safety differently. There is human and organization performance. There are many new concepts which have come and like psychological safety. All these new safety concepts we have tried to implement into our plant, and the results have been amazing. So I want to share some of those. Now, for example, as you know, the front line is the closest to the hazard. But sadly, they don't have any control over the barrier. Now, if you see, safety is not absence of accidents. Safety is absence of barriers. So we must provide the barrier between the hazard and the frontline worker. So how do we do that? Now, coming to that, the next point I would like to say is that every barrier has to be a solid barrier, whereas there are 2 types of weaknesses in the barrier. One is called active failure. Active failure mostly comes when a barrier is breached by unsafe act of a person. The second is the latent condition. Now, latent condition is by design, by environment, or by circumstances. So, we must ensure that barriers are in place, and it is not the responsibility of frontline. It is the responsibility of the line manager to ensure that sufficient barriers are present. Right? Next. If you see, there is a company called United Labs in US. Now it's called Underwriters Solutions. Now they used to bring out safety index of the countries. So you will be surprised that India was placed out of 188 countries, they were placed at 82 rank. That means in India, the safety consciousness is generally low. So that brings us another challenge. Second, coming to British Petroleum has done a lot of research in how a brain works. So they say that brain works, there is a state called alpha where you are working and your mind is elsewhere. So when you are working and your mind is not on the job, obviously it is very, very unsafe. Secondly, there is also a state called theta where, you are very tired, fatigued. So when you are fatigued, obviously your concentration will be less, and so accidents can happen. There is another concept brought in by one gentleman called George Miller. He says a person at one point of time can remember 7 plus minus 2 things. That means that is why the administrative barriers are very weak, because at one point of time he will not be able to remember 7 plus minus 2 things. Again, there are some more statistics I will give. People, 47% of time their mind is wandering. That means the 47% of the time when they are doing work, their mind is not on their job. Then India is the second most sleep-deprived nation in the world after Japan. We only sleep for 7.1 hours. Then average Indian will work at least 50 plus hours in a week. So we are overworked, we are sleep deprived. So these are some of the challenges that we have. And what we have done is, we have first, as he was saying, we have improved the communication. We have about 17 channels of communication between the front line and us. And some of the main thing is that we have a communication where our business head talks directly to the front line. Nobody else is allowed in the room. So that kind of channel, and we use QR code for reporting, which is anonymous reporting. So these are some of the things where I feel will help frontline. Second is, Every month we have a monthly safety theme, and since last 2 years, every month we are focusing on frontline only. And as a result, I will say that we have reduced the first aid cases from 29 in 2018 to just 1 in 2021. But this year we already have 4 first aid cases. What I am trying to say is that zero harm is a journey which each one of us must take and must share with each other. I request Synnex Group to establish a forum where we can share our good practices so that India can become safer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pavan. He has very well explained about the requirement of time to go with the new development, because lot of research is going around the world, and being a safety fraternity, if we really want to protect our people, then we must know about all this development. And second most important thing he has touched upon, that is the human factor. In this time when everything is being done, but still human is there, and human cannot work like a machine. So we have to consider other factors that is going to affect the human's performance. Performance not only to give the production. Performance means he can perform without doing the error. And the factors are there, what he has explained, that can compel a person to do the error. An error can convert into an incident or injury. So these are the basic, very good point he has made over here. I think every audience is going to get benefit from there and start thinking on that. Now we have another panelist. He is a very huge experience in construction industries, Mr. Kumar. Now he is going to speak and he will introduce himself and he will speak on the subject.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Om Prakash, and that audience. I am Kumar. I am AGM HSE. I am with Hindustan Construction Company. And nowadays I am looking 3 hydropower projects. So in hydropower project, having a lot of difficulty to maintain the safety as well as lone worker. Because in the hydropower project, we are deploying in the areas that like a pump operator, because all the tunnels going to 1000 meter, 1500 meter like that. So every 300 meter, 400 meter, we are deputing a pump operator, like a lone worker. So what I can say, in the construction industries, not having that type of culture like a lone worker, that system and all these things. So based on our experience as a HSE personnel, what I will did for that, first of all, we are putting the lone worker now, we are counseling to them, we are educating to them, and we are taking his medical record also. Then we are deploying him as a pump operator or that a security guard. So this is the matter to how to save his life. This is the main important. Forget all these things that company system, company culture. So better you can implement our own experience and save to the people. Because he will work alone at that place. For that, we are providing 2 persons. One is the pump operator and one is the for him assistant. Because management is not ready to provide 2 persons, but ultimately we convince to our management, site management, and we can depute to them. So at least 2 persons can stay there and they can do the work, and they will come safely. So this is our culture, and because for the cost saving, nobody wants to engage more people. So first of all, our responsibility is to put him safe. those who are coming in our project site, our main target is to save his life, save his family, and save our company. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinod. Give him a round of applause. Vinod made a very good point. Though we are talking about lone worker, but there is a concept that we should not keep a worker alone. At least we should provide one assistant to him. Now these days, lot of electronic gadgets are available in this world that we can use, like an automatic voice recorder. If you send a message on frequent interval to a lone worker and worker actively declined it, means he is safe. These are the another way has come in the market. So now, unfortunately, I can say our time has been revised, so we do not have a much time. So our balance 3 speaker will get only 3 minutes each, and I will request all the speaker to stick with the time. We should not cross the time limit. Now we have a very expert person who is a very good knowledge in legal aspects of industry, Mr. DC Saxena. He is going to speak about the legislation, what new legislation has been developed, a new code of conduct has come now these days in our country. He is going to explain some on that. Mr.
Good
Saxena.
afternoon, everybody. I'm DC Saxena from Prakash Associates Limited. I will be discussing about the statutory provisions on occupational health and safety and working conditions 2020. In very brief, since time is very less. Evolution of Factories Act. First Factories Act ever passed by the British Parliament in 1802, which was called the Factories Health and Moral Act 1802. Thereafter, after almost 80 years, first Indian Factories Act was enacted in 1881. Thereafter, last Factories Act, if we talk about, before implementation of this code, the Factories Act 1948, amended 87. Thereafter, a national policy on safety, health, environment was introduced in February 2009 by the Ministry of Labour and Employment, covering various provisions like framework, statutory framework, technical and administrative services, incentive schemes, data collections, enforcement, compliance, etc. About this code, we talk about this code. This code first introduced in the Lok Sabha in July 23rd, 2019. And after 2 months, it was handed over to referred to the Standing Committee. Standing Committee submitted their report in February 2020. And after 7 months, again it was put up in the Lok Sabha, and which was passed, and since then it is in force. If we talk about the major changes, 13 labor legislations have been replaced by the single code. Mainly which were labor legislations which were replaced: the Factories Act, the Mines Act, the BOCW Act, the Plantation Act, the Contract Workers Act, and so on and so on. Some definitions which have been modified in this code. We'll discuss about like Chief Inspector cum Facilitator. Earlier it was Chief Inspector of Factories. Now the Facilitator has been added just to facilitate the things also. Factory. Definition of factories has been modified, wherein 20 or more workers with the aid of power in a manufacturing process, or 40 or more workers without the aid of power in a manufacturing process will be known as factory. Earlier, the number was just half: 10 workers with the aid of power, and 20 workers without the aid of power. This is the change. Employer. Employer means a person who employs in his establishment the chief executive of the employer, of the establishment or the company will be known as employer. Suppose in case of factory, the occupier of the factory will be the employer. And in case of mines, owner of the mines or agent of the mines or manager of the mines will be known as employer. In other establishment, The chief executive of the factory will be known as the employer. He may be the managing director, he may be the manager, or even contractors. Contractors are employer. Contractors will also be known as the employer. Some 2 or 3 provisions especially which has been incorporated in the code. One license is required instead of multiple licenses. Earlier it was multiple licenses were to be required, were to be obtained under various acts.
Actually, Mr. Saxena, sorry to interrupt you. Major things we can discuss about the protection of workforce, what they have done in the new legislation.
They are protected also. The health and safety of the workers also protected in this code. In this code, if we talk about the penalty to the employer is also there. The duties of the occupier is also there to maintain the safe and healthy working conditions for the workplace. One major change is also there. What is this? Health examination of the employees to get done free of cost.
Keep your mic close to your mouth, please.
Free of cost by the employer. This is the major change. So every contractor needs to get the health examination of his employees also.
Okay. Thank you, Yogesh. Thanks for your valuable input. I know the subject is quite big and few minutes is not enough to cover all these things, but whatever is, greatly 2 things he has covered. One is the employer responsibility. It was earlier also, but this time it was more exhaustive and more this thing. And second thing is their health care. Now we have in our panel Mr. Praveen. He has a very good experience of now he's working as a HSE head, so he can say what kind of role a HSE head is going to play in protecting the frontline and lone worker. Mr. Yogesh, over to you.
Thank you. So, before moving ahead, we need to understand what is a frontline worker. As a layman, we try to understand like a 3 idiot, not the machine definition. So those, my friends sitting here, they are the frontline worker. My photographer friend, they are also frontline worker. The coordinator who are working in the roaming here to there, they are also the frontline worker. So like one of my coordinator was about to fall. So because they are just near to hazard, so they are frontline worker. Even during COVID or lockdown time, we all were worker when we work for home, not from home. When we work for home, so we were also frontline worker. Many of you would have drove here directly, you are also the frontline worker. So who is the frontline worker? Who has directly contact with the hazard basically, who are very close to hazard, they are the vulnerable group. Most vulnerable group of your organization, they are the frontline worker, to understand. So before moving ahead, I am Praveen Bansal, I am HSE director of my organization of Regal Rexnord, which is US MNC. And the topic is for me is what is the role of HSE or HSE head or HSE officer. It can be seen in the 2 ways. One, the HSE head, HSE officer role, traditionally it was only the legal officer. He was the stand-alone. He was being hired to fulfill the legal requirement of the company. But this role is evolving. This role is evolving. From legal compliance point of view, it has moved to system implementation. Lot of management systems are there. ISO 14001, 45001, earlier it was the OSHA's one. So this is the another role. And then moving ahead, we need to understand the issue with the frontline worker. When I'm saying the issue, all theories comes here. All theories, let's say bird theory, Hendrix theory, your pyramid theory, or this cheese theory, all need to understand by HSE person. Because to make a barrier between hazard and accident, we need to control it. And how to control, we need to identify hazard. That is the base of the safety. That is the foundation of safety. If anyone working in the safety profile is anyone want to protect the worker or protect the frontline worker or lone worker, he need to understand the hazard. If you know the hazard, definitely you will be able to control this one. Like when we go to zoo, we enjoy with line because the control is there, barrier is there. Similarly, whether you are working in the chemical industry or the cement manufacturing industry or any industry, if you have identified all hazard, if you have done the risk assessment, what is the hierarchy of control you are having, If you have implemented this one, you will enjoy this thing. So to implement and to protect the worker, frontline worker, HSE role is very, very important. It's a linchpin role, basically, I'll say. He has to play many roles. Sometimes he is the language, he has to speak the language of supervisor. Sometimes he has to speak the language of frontline worker as well. So mainly he is the bridge between the worker and the frontline worker and the management. Apart from this, as I mentioned, the base is important. He need to understand the behavior. When the frontline worker is coming to work in any area, he need to understand why he is behaving like this. Why, whether it is his skill, it is his knowledge, or it is his nature basically. We all are safety profession. I believe when we reach here, when we are sitting here, so we would have also identified the hazard which may happen in this area. Maybe exit route, all the thing. Similar thing happened being a safety person to understand what is the role of the frontline worker which is doing and how we can up his skill, how we can increase his knowledge and skill in terms of the safety, which can be done. One of my friend told me that by training or maybe there are a number of ways. Leading indicator, there is a number of leading indicator which can be used. But yes, to understand their psychology, why he is behaving like this, why he is not following the safety requirement or rule, the things, that is very important. And that should be done by the EHS person. So simply I say EHS person play many, many role in a company. Supervisor, frontline worker, sometimes legal role as well. So he has to implement both the negative enforcement and positive enforcement as per the requirement. So this is from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Praveen. He has mentioned very good points regarding one point that I can notice. The safety professionals' roles changes, evolve with the different development around the globe. Recently, I'll give you one example. Couple of days back, one PIL was dismissed in Mumbai High Court. Through that PIL, it was asked to make a law or say the decision against the arrest of safety professional in the event of incident. But Supreme Court had dismissed High Court has dismissed the PIL with mentioning that safety officer's job not limited to advisory. This is the evolvement. This is the change is coming with the time, with the legislative change. So these are the major changes are going to come, and same way the safety professional role and responsibility is also going to change. So taking not much time on that, now we have one most our learned panelist, Mr. Yogesh. He is from Tata Motors, I think so. Yeah, and he is working a lot on the digitalization or digital tools that is going to protect the worker. So, Mr.
Thank you. I'm Yogesh from Tata Motors. My subject is right digital tool. But frankly speaking, there is nothing right or wrong. The definition of right changed with the industry to industry. Maybe, for example, connected workers when we are saying. So, are we ready to give mobile handset to our worker working on the machine? Or we, definitely not. But when we say e-commerce or supply chain or distribution, it might possible that we will give some communication device to him. So that is right or wrong. I cannot say these both situations are right or wrong. But definitely when we say about digital tool, we think about these connected workers. What do you mean by connected worker? The worker can be connected through augmented reality screen, through communication channels, instructions, or any other media when we can directly communicate with this thing. So communication, when I'm saying, is a very critical tool. Right and timely communication will definitely help us to reduce the incidents in the shop floor. Second, digital tool help us for faster and quite good process in training, like AR or VR, virtual reality. When we provide a training or virtual reality, we can simulate the situation, create some virtual hazards and how a person can work and what type of action he has to take. We can understand, we can train him, and when the situation comes at the site, I suppose he is trained to handle or tackle this type of things. Third part is basically when this augmented reality screen, we can faster our production, we can go for zero defects, and we can control over this thing from remote. about the other actions on this part of that. So, as topic is too long and time is not there, so I'm not going to speak much more. I think the essence of these digital tools is crucial and is the way of, this is a forward work we are looking for the industry for frontline workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Yogesh. As Yogesh was talking about the digital tool and technology, I can give you, I am from the construction industries, my company name is AFCONS, and you know that we did an engineering marvel in India that is called Chenab Arc Bridge. And without digitalization, without technology, it was not possible. To build this kind of bridges, we need a very high level of technology as well as digital information from different sources. Then we can able to do that. And similar way, we can know that we have built the Atal Tunnel, what challenging it was. So these are the things, and I think Mr. Pavan want to speak for a minute.
I'll take 30 seconds.
30 seconds, and then we will wind up this panel after that.
Yeah, so there are a few things which I wanted to share with you. One is how to ensure workers' competency, frontline competency. Now, competency, we are talking about minimum required safety competency. So, in India, unfortunately, we don't have any certification for all the trades. But what we do is, we do an assessment, trade assessment of all the riggers, welders, gas cutters, all types of trades we do as a joint team of safety and the relevant department. So that way we can ensure that minimum competency, whether it is there or not, we can ensure. Secondly, how to increase the awareness. So there are various means of increasing the awareness, and awareness alone will prevent a lot of incidents. One is, we do circulate a daily mailer on safety. Then one of the most important thing that I think I will take credit is that we do a monthly video quiz. We analyze all the industrial incidents that has ever happened in this earth. For example, Colombia disaster, Bhopal gas tragedy, lot of oil and gas accidents we have analyzed, and so that way we can give a lot of information, lot of awareness to the people about the risks. The third one is learning from the peer industries. Now, our peer industries, lot of incidents keep happening. So that also provides one of the major learnings. And lastly, we should empower our frontline to speak up for safety. Only if they are empowered, we will really become safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pavan. A small message for all of you. We are the safety professional, most of them, I think so, or sustainability. We have just started the journey. Long way to go. This panel has a many things to share with you, but time is not there. But for your journey, you have enough time. You have a good amount of time to make your workers safe. Start thinking on that. Being a safety professional, start acting on that. You know the rule says you are the advisor to management. How many times you advise the management? That is the main question. Go sit back, relax, and think about how many times you advise your management. Or you are running against, you are running towards worker only. Most of the safety professional does this. They run to workers, not the management. And management will change, things will change. Frontline will change, accident will stop. So this is my small message. Being a safety professional, I have a 35 years of experience in this field, pure in construction safety. I can say, gentlemen, go towards your management, go behind the management. Go behind the management. They are your target. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much to all the members. To felicitate, I would like to call on stage Mr. Sachin Agarwal, MD of Hilson. Please come on the stage, sir. Can we have a huge round of applause for Mr. Sachin Agarwal? So one by one, we'll do the felicitation. Mr. Manojkumar Shah. Mr. Kumar. Mr. Pavan Kumar Rao. Mr. Praveen Bansal. Mr. DC Saxena. Mr. Yogesh Chitale. Last but not the least, our moderator, Mr. Om Prakash Prasad. Can we have a huge round of applause for all of them? Thank you so much to all our panel members and Mr. Sachin Agrawal for joining us on the stage.